We're testing this thing. All right. Can I get everyone's attention? I know you're relitigating regattas from summers past, and you're preparing for next summer. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. Good evening. My name is Tim Clark, and allegedly for a couple more moments, I am the board chair of the Junior Sailing Association of Long Island Sound. And I'm just so pleased that with all the great obligations that you have, that you were able to make it here this evening, and hopefully we'll have a productive and enjoyable time. So again, welcome to our annual general meeting of the JSA. Last year, if you'll recall, in 2024, we celebrate our 100th birthday. This year, at the age of 101, we're feeling pretty good. Before I go further, some housekeeping matters. Tonight's meeting will be broken up into three parts. Changing up the agenda from years past, I will shortly provide a review of the summer of 2025. We will then move quickly to the most important part, the awarding of season trophies. We will then take a short break and then elect new board members and officers. The baton will be handed over to our new co-chairs, who will then lead us in a look ahead and finally an open discussion on how we can all prepare for what will be a great summer of 2026. A little bit of housekeeping here. This meeting is being live streamed and recorded as a Zoom video meeting. If you are a virtual participant on Zoom, please turn off your video and mute your microphone now. Later in the meeting, you may activate your video and unmute yourself when receiving an award or asking a question during the discussion period. If you're in the audience here at Larchmont, please ask for a wireless microphone when we get into the discussion phase before you speak, so Zoom participants can hear you. Okay, so now on with the show, and we're hopefully we can have the slides come up for those who are here. And okay, we're in the right slot. Great, thank you. So I'm a data geek, so we're going to start off with a little bit of data, if you don't mind. I'd like to talk about overall participation. 2025 preliminary results showed a possible slight decline in the total number of junior sailors registered in JSA member programs. I say preliminary because we have yet to receive surveys from all the clubs. We are slightly up over pre-COVID years, but these numbers might be masking a growing trend in our junior sailors opting for shorter duration program options. Can I have a next slide? Good thing I'm walking through this, because if you can read that slide, you indeed have a great vision. Let's talk about workshops. One of the missions of the JSA is to identify best practices when it comes to organizing junior sailing programs, regattas, and coaching our junior sailors. Once again, in 2025, we offered up an event management workshop in May, a head instructor workshop in early June, and an all-instructor symposium in late June. Scheduling these workshops provided a challenge in 2025, primarily due to conflicting program start dates for Connecticut and New York. We were unable to come up with dates that worked for all, and that probably hurt our attendance, particularly for all instructor. We're going to be working hard over the next several months to address that issue for 2026. Next slide. Let's talk for a moment about regattas. Regatta was 2025 was our second year of a compressed 6-week regatta schedule, but that did not prevent so many clubs from offering up their resources and volunteers to host some great events. You can see some of those events there. Next slide, please. On this next slide, you can see the Opti qualifying events. This is just a partial list of those events. And to all those who were regatta hosts, the JSA thanks you. Let's move on. Next slide. This is all about participation by boat class. And Bob, it's my assumption that this slide deck is going to be available in part of meeting resources, hopefully after the meeting, because this is a slide that's worth studying. And I mentioned at the outset that I'm a data geek. On this slide, we are showing regatta participation by boat class. I could probably stay on the slide for about 3 hours, speculating on our trends, but I won't. Let's look first at Opties. We see declines from 2017 in red and blue, possibly as our junior sailors are looking to move to other boats earlier. Vivas continue to grow at a modest pace as this class cements its position as a viable intermediate two-person boat. On the Ilkas, we're talking 3 classes, 3 stories. For Ilka 4s, this class has emerged as an option for Opti sailors looking for something different to try. Ilka 6s and 7s possibly suffer from junior sailors that are entering junior sailing early. For the Club 420s, the same story may apply, but we were pleased to see some recovery in 2025. Next slide, please. This slide talks about champs and Opties essentially, in terms of champs participation, held essentially flat, as did Club 420s. Viva saw a nice jump, and we were pleased to also see a nice increase in Ilka 7s. We're not entirely sure what contributed to the drop in Ilka 6s. We do believe the champ participation was particularly impacted by the compressed regatta schedule in 2025, which contributed to delays in locking in final dates. I'd like to just pause to thank those clubs that hosted 2025 championship events. American, we thank you for hosting Opti Champs, Norotan for hosting FIBA Champs, and finally Riverside for hosting Ilka 420 Champs. These are challenging events to stage, and all of us associated with the JSA thank you for your extra efforts to make these events so special. Next slide. This slide, if you squint, talks about displays what's trends on team racing and junior big boats. Let's look at these 2 events. McIntyre, our team racing event, for years has been the JSA Team Race Championship, for which we have seen a steady decline in participation, which begs the question, since team racing isn't just something you can pull together at the last moment, do our clubs have the time and or inclination to train for this event? Years ago, the McIntyre was structured differently, with teams engaged in local elimination team races throughout the season, culminating in a 2-team final event, which was known as the McIntyre. Something to think about. Maybe we could refashion this event to make it more popular. As for junior big boat racing, 2025 was a better year for us because, unlike 2024, both Dorade and Beach Point were not canceled, but we remain way down over 2017 as some clubs find themselves challenged in finding adults, boats, and time to practice. The JSA continues to encourage clubs to combine forces to create junior big boat teams but that's easier said than done. Can I have the next slide, please? All right, let's talk apparel. I'm talking specifically JSA t-shirts. In 2025, the JSA offered up free t-shirts to our junior sailors. Around 2,300 shirts were distributed. See, if you want to find out how many sailors there are out there at Long Island Sound, the first thing I do is offer them a free t-shirt. We did this as a way of both saying thank you to our junior sailors and to remind us all that the real joy of our sport lies not just in the opportunity to build a lifelong love of sailing, but also to recognize that our JSA activities help forge connections and relationships that hopefully stand the test of time on or off the boat. I want to pause here for special thanks to Ellen Zarshan. Where'd she go? She's hiding. Okay. For orchestrating this effort, there's no truth in the rumor that she had to go out and personally buy a tractor trailer truck to store all those, however. Next slide. Want to talk for a moment about something other than sailing. This summer was year 2 for Sound Advocates, a partnership between the JSA and Save the Sound to provide marine ecology education to raise awareness of the conditions of Long Island Sound, which happens to be our playground. The program was geared towards Opti sailors taught in 2-hour sessions. In 2025, Sound Advocates connected with over 800 sailors from 15 member programs with 31 sessions taught. That compares with 2024, when the program connected with over 500 sailors from 12 member programs and 21 sessions taught. I want to thank Tricia Light, past JSA board chair, Larchmont member, and now affiliated with Save the Sound, for all of her efforts to make this program a success. But also to Ira Bigaliason, JSA board member, for being an important inspiration advocate for this program. Next slide. Um, so I want to highlight that the JSA once again offered up a match race clinic last June. Our thanks to Pequot for hosting the clinic and to Cedar Point for hosting the Friday night Chalk Talk. Most especially to Pearson Potts, four-time U.S. match race championship winner, and his assistant Dave Perry, anytime you can get a five-time match race, U.S. match racing championship winner as your assistant, you know you're doing pretty well. But I want to thank them both for their coaching and inspiration. And we're going to hear a little bit more about our aspirations for the match race clinic for the coming year later on. I'd like to thank in particular Brad Thompson, JSA board member, for organizing this great event. Thank you, Brad. Sometimes sailing can get a little too serious. The solution that someone came up with, you gotta unregatta. What was that? What? Hosted by American Yacht Club in partnership with Tahe Outdoors, represented by Jen Gamaris, who arranged for open skiff charters. This was an event focusing on giving our sailors the opportunity to improve their skills, make new friends, exhibit first-class sportsmanship, and have a ton of fun. And you gotta love any event that showcased the Bridge of Doom. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Bridge of Doom is, you got to look it up. Look up on YouTube, Open Skiff and Bridge of Doom, and your life will change. Our thanks to Kevin Broom, Sailing Director at American Yacht Club, Alim Ghaffar, and Melissa Worth for organizing. And I don't see Melissa here, but here's the question. Okay, here's the quiz for you. You should be all asking because you think you know so much about sailing, all of you. That is, please speak to Melissa on your own time if you want to find out what being a PFO, or Principal Fun Officer, entails. Next slide, please. We're going to talk for just a minute or two about strategic planning. What? Okay, well, bear with me on this. Back in 2022, in an effort to basically look out in the future and make sure that the JSA was traveling down the right path, we initiated a strategic review surveying our member programs about their view or image of the JSA, as well as what we should do, what the JSA should be focusing on. And let's see, we have the next slide. And here are some of the results. The JSA, really, the feedback that came back to us is that the JSA is the glue that binds us. We coordinate regatta schedules, we marshal resources, and we build a community. Next slide. Making sure I'm all aligned here. So what did you say to us that you're looking for from the JSA? Help in building your lesson plans, club spot support, regatta planning assistance, and also opportunities for rendezvous and social events. Okay, I'm really going to get controversial here. Everybody here has heard of the DeRay Trophy. Back in the ancient history days, which is when I was sailing, DeRay was actually 2 days, and we used to raft up at Lloyd's Sandspit between day 1 and day 2. What about if we had a big boat rendezvous? I want you to think about that, and we could see if we can make that happen for the coming years. Next slide. There's a vicious rumor going on that I will be I will be passing along the mantle of JSA board chair to others. But on my way out, you know what? I'm going to share with you just briefly my dream list. And there are four things on my dream list. This is not Christmas list. This is like a dream list. First is focusing on building skills first and race results second. Um, and I might just actually, did I just miss something? Nope. I'm going back. I missed something. The first one is giving our sailors not just what they need, but what they want. Before sailing starts, ask our younger sailors what would make for a great summer of sailing. Ask our older sailors, what do you want to try this summer? What should we set as goals for you? And then check in with your sailors throughout the summer. My second dream, focusing on building skills first and race results second. Develop a skills scorecard. Keep up with it and celebrate as often as possible when new skills are being mastered. My third dream, parents as partners. Build a better library of resources to inform and support the parents of sailors of all ages, abilities, and interests. My fourth dream, life after junior sailing. We should identify and train future coaches early. Work with club members to identify short-term internship opportunities. Collaborate to better tell the story of the virtues of junior sailing. And finally, up our game on communications. The JSA has been doing its best to improve ways that we connect with you through primarily through Instagram. And where's Aaron? Oh, I don't see. Okay, Aaron, part of our team that was so instrumental in getting the message out there. But we need to do better because there's a whole lot of really great stuff going on out there, and we want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. So I'm going to close with some thanks. First to what I think of as the core four, which are junior program organizers, regatta organizers, parents, and our junior sailors. First, let's talk about junior program organizers. Junior sailing programs don't just happen. It takes a lot of work to hire instructors, build an organization and infrastructure, run registration, and organize junior program events. Volunteers on junior sailing committees, partnering with club management, sailing directors, head instructors, and junior instructors create so much fun for us. When we don't, we just work a little bit harder to get it right so we can get back indeed to having fun. And when we are having those good days and having fun, however you define it, it makes it all worthwhile. So thank you. So thank you so much. And let me just, forgive me, I missed a second are the regatta organizers. The regatta organizers that we spotlighted earlier. Putting together these junior sailing events is a challenge, but one that is so rewarding in the joy that it brings to our sailors. So to all those organized regattas, served on race committees, volunteered in any capacity, we say thank you. And our parents are so raise your hand if you're a parent. Come on, I want to see. Okay, see, I didn't knew the you are God's gift to sailing, because sailing is a really difficult sport relative to, let's say, even lacrosse or swimming, in terms of all the logistics of making this happen. And we are forever grateful to you for all the support that you provide, not just to junior sailors, but to all their friends. And our hat has out to you. And finally, to our junior sailors, there's a whole lot of people that are engaged in this sport, and those of us that allegedly consider ourselves to be adults, look at you, our junior sailors, as the reason why this sport is so great and it's only going to get better. It's alleged that many adults at one point in time were kids, but I'm not sure about that. But all of you who are in junior sailing programs this summer, we thank you because you really have brought great joy to our sailing community. So thank you. I'm going to I'm going to um, um, and I'm going to close with a couple of I call organizational thanks. First of all, my deep and profound thanks to my vice chairs, Alim Gafar and Henriette Roll. You've been amazing in your relentless efforts to make junior sailing on Long Island Sound the best that it deserves to be. I have cherished our arguments, most of which I've lost, but you both have been my guides, my devil's advocates, and most importantly, trusted advisors. So thank you. I want to thank my fellow JSA board members. I have served on and led a number of boards and board committees, but I have rarely had the privilege of serving on a board with such informed, passionate, and committed individuals. It's easy to dream, but it can be tough to make it happen. Throughout this past year, you have inspired, challenged, identified, and delivered on solutions addressing important issues. Junior sailing on Long Island Sound is in a good place because of your dedicated service. Thank you. And finally, to Bob Whitridge, our executive director. Bob served in this position, has served in this position for only 20 years, so he's kind of learning the ropes. And throughout his tenure, he's been he's been really the glue that has kept junior sailing together on Long Island Sound. His energy, his thoughtful research, and tireless efforts really have combined to distinguish the Junior Sailing Association of Long Island Sound as a leader of JSAs around the country. And so Bob Whitridge really has been that glue. And I'm going to get personal for a second. I'm going to say that I'm going to miss Bob, our Monday calls and our combined efforts to make junior sailing better. But I'm pleased that with the new board leadership, great days of junior sailing on Long Island Sound lie ahead. Bob, you're already standing, but I want you to come forward. Come on, you can do this. You're sitting back there, no one sees you. Give the man some space. I want everybody to see him. And I want you to stand and express your gratitude, with a round of applause to our executive director. Thank you. And that concludes my remarks. And now we're going to get out. We're going to move on and have some fun and maybe give out some awards. So thank you. You'll explain how it works.
So I'm going to speak to Mike, who is my remote producer. Mike, you can turn off the first. It'll be on a new recording. Thanks. And while Mike is doing that, I'm just going to mention that the way this is going to work. Oh, by the way, there are a lot of people standing in the back. There are, I won't say ample spaces, but there are extra chairs at the tables over in the quarterdeck. And if you want to find a chair, move it to an empty spot over here in the side aisle, if you will, the wings of the stage. You are welcome to take a seat, even though we don't have any more seats within this particular room. And there are 3 right up front. So if anybody wants to be in the front row, come right on up. It's just 3, no more though. Absolutely. Now, however, for those of you who might have gone over on the side, looks like we don't have too many juniors over there. So if you're on the side, walk into the center where Tim Clark is now standing, and then we will arrange that soon. Now, the first thing I'd like to do, Tim, I'd mentioned that Rory Millar wasn't able to be here during the regular session because he has to be over at the Hummock School for a hockey game photo. Walk over there, please, and look for the Rory Millar ticket on one of those plates. And then Rory will be able to come on up and accept his award. And Raphael, we can take a picture of Rory. Come on, Rory. And so Raphael's going to take a picture. And while that's being done, I'll say that Rory was the best score within his, I believe it's Blue Fleet, isn't that right? I think. In the JSA Area B. JSA Area B, by the way, for those that don't know, is the Bronx, Westchester, and Greenwich, Connecticut. So congratulations, Rory. And we'll let him go and get his hockey photo over at the Hummock School. Now we'll start with the normal procedure and the normal sequence of events. Let me get my glasses on so I can read this better. Thank you. So the first one is the Brooks Gonzalez Award. That is given to a young woman who demonstrates sportsmanship, exceptional ethical behavior, dedication to the sport of sailing, and outstanding sailing performance among her female peers. This year, that award goes, Tim is over here. This year, that award goes to Grace Sinclair from Pequot Yacht Club, and I believe Grace is here. I'm going to ask Grace to pose with the original perpetual trophy, which is a little more impressive than the keeper we give. And then we'll let her take the keeper away. Okay, thanks very much. And Grace, we have a keeper here for you. Thank you very much. The next award is actually being shared by two co-awardees this year. It's the Susie Trotman Award for Outstanding Sailing Instruction. And this year, we're pleased to announce that the award is going to two young women who are instructors at different JSA clubs. The first is Adelia DeRose from Port Washington Yacht Club, and the second is Julia Marash, Beach Point Yacht Club. I have heard from Adelia. She is unable to participate at all tonight because she's at an evening class at her college. But Julia is on Zoom. I think I see that. And Mike, if you want to try to spotlight her, we can ask her to accept her award virtually. I think her parents are here as well.
Hi, this is Julia.
Hi, Julia. We don't see your picture yet, but we will try to get you spotlighted. But in the meantime, we congratulate you, and we'll give your award to your parents.
Sure,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, Tim, here are the Marash parents. Right here. Go ahead. Thanks. So now, in addition to that, we had a variation that we thought about doing for a past couple of years. And this year, we decided that a person who's doing more than just instructing, somebody who's doing program direction and so forth at their club, will receive an award which doesn't have a name yet other than what it's for. The award is for excellence in program management by an individual. This year, that goes to Thomas Whidden, who is from Pequot Yacht Club. And Thomas, I know you're on Zoom. So if you're on Zoom, say hi and tell us you're accepting your award.
Yes, thank you very much for this award. It means a lot. And thank you, Bob and Tim, for all your hard work over the summer.
Super. And it seems like a big Pequot Yacht Club team here, and one of you can take Thomas's award and give it to him. Now we get to the Mary Venkata Award, which is the intent of the Mary Venkata Award is to celebrate specific contributions towards improving the quality and safety in the training of instruction of sailors. This year, that award is going to the Milford Yacht Club. And Tim, yeah, let him have the perpetual. Just pick up the top. The one, it's not, yeah, they're not connected together. Okay. So this award that they're holding as the perpetual is actually an award that the JSA received in the year 2000. It was the result of Mary Van Conta, who was then JSA's chairperson, instituting a variety of special events and training sessions for sailors during that season. And U.S. Sailing actually recognized the Junior Sailing Association Long Island Sound with its own award. This is the award we got. And it was all due to Mary Van Conta's efforts in those days. So we decided to rededicate this award to become the Mary Van Conta Award. And the takeaway is a nice plaque. And similarly, there's a new award this year. We thought there were some cases in the past that a nomination was actually talking about a club that had a wide variety of season programming or excellence, as opposed to something specific that might be replicatable fairly easily by any other club. And this year we decided to give that award to a club that does a tremendous amount of racing, scheduling, I should say, of racing for the JSA, and that is the American Yacht Club. And we'll see the chair of the junior program, Melissa Worth, and TJ Janalik, accepting the award. Yeah. Now we're moving on to the Mitchell Weeks Award. The trophy is dedicated for sailors who demonstrate extraordinary sportsmanship during the season. And there is an award for Club 420, skipper and crew, not necessarily from the same boat. And then for all of the ILCA classes 4, 6, and 7. This year, the C420 skipper award goes to Cameron Appel from Port Washington Yacht Club. The next award, which is for the crew of a Club 420, goes to Luca Leonardov from Pequot Yacht Club.
Yay, Luca. Luca's on Zoom.
And it's being accepted by a family member, Scott Lewis. Scott Lewis, another Pequot Yacht Club person.
You're so cool. You're so cool.
Thanks. So the next award goes to the smaller, if you will, lower size sail, I should say, of the ILCA class. It's going to Eddie Beer from Huguenot Yacht Club.
A little slow.
The next one goes to the ILCA 6 class, and this is going to Kennedy Kuba from Norwalk Yacht Club.
Hi, this is Kennedy. Thank you so much.
Okay. We'll put that back, Tim, please. And then finally, for the ILCA 7, it's Daniel Mentz, again from Huguenot Yacht Club. Now, another award, which is to somebody who can't be here at all today, either remotely or in person. It's the Warren G. Dellenbaugh Junior Navigation Trophy for the best score on the Advanced Navigation Contest. This year, there was only one sailor who had a score better than 80. She had about 84 or 5 or 84, as I recall, on the test. And it was Aidan Engel from Larchmont Yacht Club. Aidan's not here. Even though she can't be here, we'll let one of the Larchmont people take it and give it to her. Okay. Continuing on. Another person who couldn't attend tonight either is William Bateman, because he's at boarding school. He is the winner of the Clinton Bell Trophy for the junior single and double-handed events season series. That means he had the better score from among Club 420s or any ILCA class of either of those classes. And that's William Bateman from Shelter Island Yacht Club. The Clinton Bell Trophy goes back to the 1950s, donated by Clinton Bell himself, who was a former officer of the JSA, also a very active member of Larchmont Yacht Club. The next perpetual award is Thomas Fowler Jr. Trophy for the double-handed events series low point. That means it's only for the Club 420, no other class. And Hadley Hall and Henry Kurloff from Larchmont Yacht Club were the winners. They get the julep cups. Yes, both each. Each one gets one, Tim. And those julep cups are sort of a memorial that the trophy itself is a wine cooler. So we wanted some vertical, cylindrical, something they could drink out of. I'll put it that way. The next trophy is the Christopher Goodyear Neff Trophy. And this is likewise, just like the Clinton Bell, for the runner-up in a junior single or double-handed events. In this case, the runner-up is Mark Vermutz and Gavin Managio from Norotan Yacht Club. And the perpetual is a Revere Bowl, so the keepers are also Revere Bowls. Going on to some trophies that are trophies which are not part of the perpetual series, but we offer them anyway. And this is the series season runner-up in the ILCA 6. So this is the person who was next in line after William Bateman in terms of his overall score. It was Finn Vandevents from Cedar Point Yacht Club, and I think he's on Zoom. We'll make sure it gets to a Cedar Point person to carry it forward. The next award is for, we have 2 awards for the ILCA 7. Let me start with the first one. The first one is for Eden Holden from Indian Harbor Yacht Club. He is getting the single-handed events series ILCA 7, but I believe he is not able to attend unless he's on Zoom, because he told me to give it to an Indian Harbor rep. Well, if they're not here, we'll get it to them. Continuing on, there is another ILCA 7 award. It's not the so-called series season, but it's an award given to someone who got a very low point score, but just happened not to register to be officially part of the series season. And we didn't want to exclude such people because we thought they deserved recognition. And this individual who got the series low point award for the ILCA 7 is John Griffzu III from Stanford Yacht Club. And then the final one in the ILCA, the ILCA series, take that back, there are a couple. The final low point score for the Ilka 4 was Eddie Beer from Hugo Yacht Club. I know he's here because he picked up another award earlier. But in addition, we had a runner-up. There was a tie score or something like that, as I recall. And so we didn't want to exclude the runner-up, although sometimes in the years past, we haven't given runner-ups for this. And that runner-up is Gabriel Bannon from Huguenot Yacht Club, and I believe he said he was here. Now we're moving on to a new class, that is the FIVA class. The FIVA class, as some of you know, really only developed strongly in the JSA within the last 10 years. It's certainly the boats had been sailed earlier than that, but the very active championships and so forth didn't start to take place until after 2016 or 17, as I recall, after the fleet began to show substantial growth. And we're so pleased we have a wonderful trophy that was donated to us by the FIVA class itself as the perpetual. The winner of the Ryan J. Rice Trophy for the season series FIVA is Oliver Gill and Tyler Nelly from Milford Yacht Club. Say, Tim, offer them the perpetual too so they can hold it. Okay, and they do have 2 large trays as keepers. And there is a runner-up in this particular class. Again, it was a tie score, as I recall. Thomas Owen and Ted Lelick from Larchmont Yacht Club. And now, Tim, we're going to be going momentarily to the other table on the side, which is all the Optis. And so the Optimus events are categorized in by area. So rather than have each individual person come up, I'd like to have the 3 or sometimes 4 people who I'm going to name for the area come up, and I'll tell you what the award is for, and Tim will give out the awards in the center, but the actual awards are sitting over in the side there at the moment. So for the Area A is all of Long Island in JSA area, in JSA parlance. We have the following people who are going to be involved. Series Low Point Area A, Red Fleet, Tristan McNally. Series A, so come on up and just stand in the center, Tristan. Series A, Blue Fleet, is Natalie Buchner. And Series A, Blue Fleet, a low point because they hadn't actually registered, is Anderson Packard from Sewanaka Yacht Club. And then finally, we have the Area A White Fleet and Girls, Annabelle Buchner. And Tim will try to decipher which ones are which. So Tim, what we need is Tristan McNally, Natalie Buchner, Annabelle Buchner, and Anderson Packard. So now we're going to call up Area B. Area B, as I mentioned earlier, is the Bronx, Westchester, and Greenwich. And we've already given Rory Miller his award because he couldn't be here at this point in the meeting. In addition, we have Madeline Honorowski from Larchmont Yacht Club. Leah Trigg, who was a runner-up because they had a tie score. from Larchmont Yacht Club. And then we have in the Blue Fleet, Area B, sorry, I should say White Fleet, Owen Santini from Indian Harbor Yacht Club. So I'll repeat the names: Madeline Harnoski, Leah Trigg, Owen Santini. Okay, come to the center and have your picture taken in the center, right by the aisle here. Okay. So getting to the end, oops, one more picture from a parent. Okay. Getting to the end, we have Area C. Area C is all of Connecticut from Stamford to the east, not including Greenwich. And the names that I'm going to ask to come up are, let me double check this again: Henry Van Dam from Milford Yacht Club, JJ Bainton in the Blue Fleet from Road Yacht Club, and JJ Bainton. And the final is Adelaide Lewis from Pequot Yacht Club in the White Fleet. Adelaide was also the girl award for this group in Area C. Now, before everybody walks away, I'm going to ask JJ to stand back as everybody else leaves. And the reason for that is that JJ, in addition to being the winner of his class in Area C, is also this year's winner for the new James W. Sykes Award that was donated by the Sykes family for the best, let me correct my statement, for the Optimus events in the season series overall Red and Blue Fleet combined scores. And he is the winner of the Sykes Award, which is that round top perpetual, Tim. You can give him the perpetual. He wants to hold the perpetual too. Okay. So this is the new perpetual, and JJ will be the first person who has their name on the perpetual. Thank you. And then we will give him, in addition to the award he got for the area, he's got the large tray for the Sykes itself. Thank you very much. Okay, congratulations, JJ. And we also sincerely appreciate the family of James W. Sykes, who wanted to donate an award in the name of their dad, James Sykes, and remembering that he personally was a sailor who encouraged his family to sail, and when he was sailing his big boat, he also invited and encouraged his family to always be part of the crew. So it was a real family affair, and we appreciate the family for donating this trophy. Okay, that is it for the, shall we say, normal dinghy awards. We're going to transfer to the big boat awards, starting with the Dorade, which is the one that you see there, right? So the first, let me clarify. Let me double check who is the overall winner. Okay, the overall comes last. So I'm just going to speak in sequence on the series categories, the classes, I should say. The class 1 category was first place, our Apavargar is the name of the yacht from Pequot Yacht Club. Jim. So you can all line up, and Raphael will stretch out and get your picture. In class two, the third place, I'm jumping because the second place is actually the overall winner. The third place, class two, is Young American from American Yacht Club. Probably one of the larger trophies, Tim. Larger bowls. I'm sorry. Well, wait a moment. Did I mess this up? All right, Tim, let me ask, I could be messing up my schedule. Look at the plaques, which are from the Beach Point. What's the name on the first plaque? Okay, well, Apavarga was on the,
Then Young American, third place.
right, okay, my mistake, I'm sorry. So what we was accidentally doing was giving out the awards for the Beach Point overnight, which I thought I had rescheduled on the sheet, but apparently I didn't do that. So the award that was, the people that just came up for the award from Apavarga, come back again. We have a different plaque for you. We have a different plaque for you. There is one for you for the other award too, but we want the plaque right over there. The one at the very end, Tim. Okay, so to repeat, this is first place in class one for the Beach Point Overnight Award, Apavarga from Pequot Yacht Club. They get that plaque. Okay, the next one, again, Beach Point Overnight. Third place in class two is Young American from American Yacht Club. They have a plaque for themselves.
If I get in here, your mom. You can cut me out. Picture.
Okay, now we on to class two, second place. Class two is Mad Dogs and Englishmen from Norotan Yacht Club.
Fine, where's your man? Where he? Okay.
Okay, we'll give it to Ryan Dodd, who's our board member from Norotan. And then finally, we have the plaque, and that huge trophy goes to the first place in class two, but also with the best overall score in the event from Deviation at Huguenot Yacht Club. And Tim, you can manhandle the large trophy and hand it to somebody else, one of these strong guys here. The large trophy is, no, it's all one piece. And one of you guys want to take that heavy trophy and hold on to it for the rest of the gang? That is the Everett Morris Perpetual Trophy, donated by Emil Bus Mossbacker, who was a member of Beach Point Yacht Club back in, I think, the 1950s or so. And Morris had been a former chairperson of the JSA. And at his death, Mr. Mossbacker decided it would be beneficial and appropriate to have a perpetual trophy for the overnight race. And that's how that trophy got started. Now we're on to the final, which is the Dorade, and that's the one with the small bowls. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope we have 5 bowls, right? There's a small one there, I think. That's probably it, right? Anyway, I'll start out with the one that is second in the class 1, which is the Roost from Riverside Yacht Club. Richard, do you want to present that? Do you want to present these awards to people? Next in line is the first in class 1, which is again at a different event, Apavarga from Pequot Yacht Club. The next one in the group is the third place in class 2, which is 3 cheers from Norotan Yacht Club. And coming to the second from last is the second in class 2, Valiant from Stamford Yacht Club. Or the perpetual, or the overall winner, yeah. And we're going to let now I'm going to ask Richard West to present the final. He's arrived. Richard is a former Commodore, right? Or are you the current or former Commodore? Richard is the former Commodore, just recently retired from Stamford Yacht Club. He will present the final award for the Raid series run at Stamford Yacht Club. And it goes to the first overall from Huguenot Yacht Club Deviation. And Richard, you can ask one of them to hold the perpetual as well. Congratulations to all of the winners, whether they were in dinghies or special awards or navigation or big boat events. We are so glad to see that there's a lot of competition among the JSA junior sailors in 2025. And now we're going to close the awards portion of the meeting, take about a 5 or 10-minute break perhaps. And after the break, we will reopen with the annual meeting, election of the board of directors, and discussion among program leaders. Anyone who wants to stay, other than your program leader, is willing to stay. But any of you who are families who have to get back home and do homework and things like that, you're welcome to leave. All
right, I think we're going to get started, and others who seem to be enamored with the quality of the water are refilling, and they'll be along shortly. So Bob, we're going to get going if that's okay. Great, thank you. So I first of all, thank you for coming back. I call this meeting to order. Owing to the absence of our secretary this evening, I will take it upon myself to inadequately assume his role. First, there's the matter of whether we have a quorum, and by my count, in accordance with Section 10A of the JSA bylaws, indeed we do. So next is minutes from the prior annual meeting. At this time, our agenda calls for the minutes of the 2024 annual meeting to be read. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. The motion is to waive the reading and accept the minutes as proposed. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. This could be the most important election of your life, so you got to be engaged. Now at this time, again with our secretary's absence, I'm going to outline our election procedure. The election procedure is set forth in the JSA bylaws, which state that a chairperson or two co-chairpersons, no less than one and no more than four vice chairpersons, a secretary and a treasurer and directors shall be elected by ballot by the members present at the annual meeting, according to Section 7. Who votes is also set forth by the bylaws. The voting privilege shall be limited to regular or provisional member programs in good standing, which are each entitled to one vote at the JSA meetings. Mr. Richard West, who is the chair of this year's nominating committee, will now read the nominating committee report indicating the names of the individuals who have been nominated to office by the nominating committee. Richard.
Thank you, Sam. I'd like to first thank the members of my committee, our committee this year, Brian Joyce, Chuck McCarthy, and Eam Gumprecht, who all worked really hard throughout the year, as they have the last few years. So the proposed slate for the 25-26 JSA officers and directors is as follows. For chairpersons, Alim Ghaffar from Douglaston Club, Henriette Roll from Seacliff. For vice chairperson, Ira Bigelaisen from City Island. For treasurer, Tom Carroll from Cold Spring Harbor. For secretary, David Neely, Stanford Yacht Club. For the class of 2027, filling a vacancy, Eric Stork from Centerport Yacht Club. And for the new class of 2028, Ellen Zarkin from Larchmont, Melissa Worth from American, and Melissa Chickering from Riverside Yacht Club. That concludes nominating committee's report.
Thank you, Richard. And I want to further reiterate my thanks to you and your committee. Sometimes people are kind enough to sign up for a year or two, and Mr. West has done this for several years, and we are forever grateful to you and your committee for all of your efforts on behalf of the JSA. The representatives of the JSA member junior programs will now vote for the aforementioned officers and directors. If you are here in the room, when I call the vote, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. So, practice, get the blood circulating. If you're on Zoom, please use the chat to write your vote as yes or no. Let's have that vote. All those in favor of the slate, please indicate by raising your hands. Those opposed? Is there a member that that might wish to make a motion?
To have a voting member present, make a motion to have a secretary report a single ballot in favor of all the nominees.
All those in favor of that motion?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. The nominees are elected. And with that, I turn the mantle over to our new co-chairs, Alim Ghaffar and Henriette Roll. Congratulations.
Don't go anywhere. Yeah, you're not dismissed. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So thank you. It has been a pleasure to serve with you for all these years, and thank you for everything that you've done for the JSA. You've brought a lot to the table, and we really appreciate that. It's been a pleasure to work with you. It's been agonizing to work with you, but it mostly has been a lot of fun. So thank you on behalf of Alim and myself and all of the members of the JSA. So.
All right.
And in keeping with tradition, at the JSA, we have a small parting gift. For Tim Clark. So I just want to say a couple words about this and Tim, before we pass the baton, so to speak. You know, one of the things I was thinking about, or when we had a lot of conversations, Tim, about some of your hobbies, and one of them is making kayaks. And got to thinking a little bit about what that means. When you're in a kayak, you're on your own, you're leading, and you're also working. And I think one of the things we could say about Tim and the 11 years he's been a member of the JSA board is that he's not just somebody that sat by. When I came on this board, one of the things that Richard had said to me was we have a working board. And throughout the years that I've worked with Tim, he's always put effort in. He's never just sat back and let things go. So I'll point out two things. One is, you know, when he was secretary, when he was treasurer, and we were looking at a potential shortfall, he found ways and to make sure that we'd stay solvent. He presented it to the board, then he presented it to the membership, and he worked hard to make sure that his numbers worked out. I'll mention also, problem is I don't have my glasses here with me. I don't want to keep this too long. Yeah. But what's it say? Put together. I'm sorry. Do you have glasses? Thanks. Okay. Yes. And even when Tim moved on into his ultimate leadership role as chair, he continued to help out with the head instructor actually taking that on and for at least the last 2 years, putting that together pretty much by himself. I know that you had some help here and there, but the execution, the presentation and making it happen is something that he continued to do. So even as chair, he didn't just delegate out work to others. He made sure that he got his hands dirty. So Tim, I hope that we can continue in that fashion to do as you did here. So that's most of what I want to say. I don't want to spend too much time with this, but we do have something really nicely written here. Do you want to read it? Or I could read it.
You can read it.
Okay. All right. So it says at the very top, Tim Clark, for your exceptional dedication and years of outstanding service to our mission, your leadership at the JSA of LIS, and your commitment to youth sailing is inspiring. We're deeply grateful for all you have given. Thank you, Tim. I don't know where Christina's going to let you hang back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm still gonna cry it.
So Tim, now that you're going back to your other volunteer work, you won't be a man without a paddle up a creek if it were ever to happen.
I need all the support I can get, so thank you. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to be a part of this great organization and to be a part of junior sailing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right,
All right.
so we need the notes back to stay on.
There's not much here other than what you now talk to you. So we,
On the podium.
well, actually, there might be.
Are these?
No,
No, that's not it.
Let's see, yeah, I only print out what I had.
but you only care about what was for you?
Where I wait a minute, look at this one.
Yeah.
It takes wrap this one.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And now we're down here. Okay. Why don't you go ahead? I think your eyesight is better than mine here.
You think?
Yeah,
Ooh.
there you go. 8:10.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
All right.
So the JSA is, and Alim and I are here to support you. So we really want to hear about what's going on in your world. And We had some questions about your successes for the summer of 2025. Was there anything or any successes or challenges that you would like to share with the group that you think that we could all benefit from learning about? Ira?
So, after legalized. Yeah, let's do that. Well, that's not any microphone, not using them.
There are not that many people.
Over the last number of years, it's been my goal to develop our sailing instructor staff from within the club and within the program. So I now have children who started at 9, who are 16, 17, and 18, who are our instructors. So we've managed to staff our program. It's not a big program, but it has successfully trained and kept children involved through their teenage years. And this has been an amazing pleasure for me because the program almost runs itself. Because the kids all who are instructors all know what's supposed to happen and how it's supposed to happen. And they've been the recipients of excellent instruction over the years. And so we don't have a lot of issues that you may have and that I've had in the past, where I've had people come in from the outside and I have to spend an enormous amount of time really training them and getting them up to speed. Every year you get somebody new and they don't really know your club. They don't really know how things run. And so I offer that as a suggestion and an idea for us to consider this year is possibly as a organization working to help clubs develop their young people, keep them involved in sailing and keep them involved in the club program so that clubs can have really well-trained instructors. And hopefully we'll be able to share instructors. Julia Morash grew up in my club. She was a CIT and now she's been running Beach Point for the last 4 years. So this is an example of what could happen to help us do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ira. Does anyone else have any?
Anyone want to comment on that?
Yes. Go ahead.
I don't know.
Oh, you're just taking the mic. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to ditto what Ira said. Christopher Deek with Darien Junior Sailing.
1 second.
Christopher Deek with Darien Junior Sailing. Now, we're not a yacht club or a club per se. We are much like Oyster Bay and North Stonington, where we're a nonprofit that's on the auspices of the town. And when I took over the program 10 years ago, I had the same problem you had, is that instructors were very hard to find. And I recently just said goodbye to 3 instructors who were phenomenal, who came to me 10 years ago. And they were opties, and you can see them as you go along, you know who they are. And then you approach them, you approach the parents, and they come along and they eventually age out. Now, 2 of them, of the 3 of them, I'm going to get 1 more back for 1 more year. I know it, because to have 3 disappear, they're not all going to get their internships. And that's what we're fighting, is the internships on that. So ditto what Ira said. The second thing that happened is our attendance. So I got the hiring of the CITs ironed out over the last couple of years. And all of a sudden last year in 2024, our student population dropped by 40% going into the beginning of the year. And that's crisis mode. We're like, wow. And we muddled through the season and then regrouped over the winter. And what we decided to do is we had a program that was 3 weeks, 3 weeks, and 2 weeks. And we changed it to 8 weeks of 2-week programs. And it bolstered the numbers. Our first session and our 4th session are always very, very strong. It was the 2 middle sessions in July that were very weak, especially the 3rd session of July. So we came up with an idea that we put our program on sale, $100 off. If you have 1 session, you can do sessions 3 and 4 for $100 off, et cetera, and so on. And right before the 3rd session started, which is our least attended, the attendance exploded and it became one of the top top sessions of the season. 2 weeks before we're ready to go into and say, wow, we were off more than 70% as far as attendance went in that. So by adjusting the sessions, no longer do they have to commit to 8 weeks or 3 weeks even. They can do 2 weeks. And then some came to us and said, listen, can we take the second 2 weeks and do a week here and a week there? And we actually allowed for that, and that worked. And then they came to me and they
Just-
said,
I'm curious about that. So you had kids who are in week 1, they're learning,
Yep.
but then they're coming back in week 3. They don't have a lag of the group of where they're at.
so long as they go through the first or second session, they go through the basic,
Mhm.
especially if they're beginners, they can join any other session, and we'll bypass them on day 1 and 2 where you're going over the very basics and send them right out on the water. So they're up to par already. So we
Right.
split it, and my instructor said, yeah, we can take this group here, which is experienced out, might be a half a dozen kids, and the remaining 10 or 15 can go as beginners.
As beginners. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how you did it. You just segmented them out.
And it worked. I was totally dumbfounded by the results in the middle of July when all of a sudden the numbers shot up literally in 4 or 5 days. I think a lot of it was people didn't know what they were going to do with the rest of the summer.
Right.
Those that were going to go away had gone
You
away.
joined baseball
They'd
camp
been
or-
away. Yeah, they came back. Camp was over. And all of a sudden, the flexibility is sitting right there to say, I can jump them in for 4 weeks or two weeks and end the summer. Because our last session in August has always been strongly attended to. So that's what I wanted to add. Anyone has any questions, they're more than welcome to.
I have questions.
Yep, go ahead.
Do you advertise it as that there is continuum for those kids and that they're not going back to basics again?
Internally, we do. We don't tell the town.
Okay.
Internally. So in other words, if someone from last year wants to come along and do something special, they can come to me and the board and or they can come to me and I can say, yes, we can do that. We don't offer it outside to the town. We offer it internally through emails and, advertising saying, all right, this is what we're going to do. And then we market it kind of.
Right. So you get kids that come back 2, 3, 4 years with you and stay with the
Our rate of return or subscription, I guess you could say,
program.
is 60%. So 60% of our kids return every year. And
I think that's excellent. Yeah.
so we only have to find 2 dozen more kids to
Right.
bring us up to what our normal numbers are on that. It ought to be interesting to see whether it works this coming year because there were sleepless nights last spring. It wasn't easy, but it did work.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm just a little confused in terms of how your program runs. I don't know it. So let me ask a couple of questions because I'm kind
Oh,
of
sure.
So we've tried the 2-week programs and
Yes.
we've actually seen fall off. So we've gone back to 6 and 8 week programs. But I'm kind of curious as to how this works. Ours is a club. And so our feed is just within the club for the most part.
Mhm.
And in the past, we have had in the middle of the summer, we have families that go away abroad for vacation.
Uh-huh.
And that's the thing that really kind of, we get the family saying, well, we need a little flexibility. So we tried to do that. We tried to break it into 2 4-week, and we did for 2 weeks. And we saw, more and more drop off because there wasn't a commitment. Some of those kids just didn't come back. When you say that you have the 2-week and then you give them the discount and then kids are showing up, is it the same kids that are showing up during
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's only marketed to the people that are participating in the program.
Okay.
Because we can't offer that we don't want to offer it to the rest of the
Sure.
town right now, but
So if the argument that the families had was that, well, we need this as vacation time for the family. I'm not sure what the argument was. You're saying the discount was was convincing enough to say, let's change our plans and.
I don't think so. I think it was just something that was added as a sweetener to get their attention. I honestly believe that. I
Okay.
don't think the discount really meant anything. It was $100 off of
Yeah,
$800 for 2 weeks is what we charge. I
Right.
don't know whether that's competitive. Again, we're an outside program. We're not a
Yeah.
club, but so $100 and that was, and we don't want to make a habit of that.
right.
And we want them to have committed to us in other areas before we offer that. And if you have a kid that is going through the program like that, he's the instructor of tomorrow.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And the other
That's
thing I
a
had to do
Passionate kid.
when I took over the program, there was only opties because the 420 section had fallen apart completely. And I realized the key to instructors was to keep them there as adolescents, 12 and 13-year-olds. And I brought in a laser program and set it up.
Yeah.
And that's perfect. It's the perfect step to go from Opti to laser to 420. That's what our program is. I wish I had the money to have FIVAs and everything else.
I
I
don't
guess
think
we all
you
do.
did, honestly. I think it's better to have a strong group of sailors than to have to be dabbling in everything. In my personal.
Yes, I don't want it to get out of control. Right. I want it as the step, the progression.
plan.
Yeah, and the progression seems to work. For some reason, our afternoon sessions, which were always weaker as far as attendance goes, also bolstered. We had as many advanced kids as we did in our second session in the morning, which I don't think that had happened in 15 years.
John, what's your organization?
Chris,
I'm sorry, Chris.
Darien Junior Sailing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
So,
We have 2026.
Yeah. so I don't think there are any parents here, honestly, that are, seems like everybody here has adult children, right? There's, let's skip that question. All right, you want to start with 26?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so, we had questions come in beforehand, so that's where this is coming from, but what can we do to better encourage and prepare our older sailors to become instructors? And I think John, or did you, Chris? It was Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, just answer that for us.
Yeah.
But
Well, and I think Ira has a part there also.
yes. And then asking about turnover of instructors, if you're seeing a high, is it getting
Yeah.
better? Because we've been complaining about turnover for years.
Yeah, instructor trends, I think, is what we're looking for to hear from you guys. What are you seeing? Are you seeing younger and younger instructors coming in? Are you continuing to have problems, Brad?
Sorry, jump up for that question.
Go
No,
ahead.
no, please. I love the excitement.
Microphone is right there.
Come stand with us.
Yeah,
So I'm from Cedar Point Yacht Club in Connecticut. And what we're seeing is that the instructors are getting younger and younger, right? So it used to be that just college kids. And then it became, the summer between my junior and senior year. And now more and more, we're seeing it between my sophomore and junior year. And it's positive in that we're keeping these kids involved, but we're also, they're not sailing that, they're not participating as sailors between their sophomore and junior years, they're becoming instructors. So it is this trade-off for us. And my son, who's 16, he's saying, well, all my friends are going, more and more of my friends are becoming instructors. So should I stay in junior sailing or should I go instruct? And so that's a question. So if you take them that young, you can keep them for 3 years is what we're seeing, right? So between junior and senior, between senior and freshman year, and then you can get them back for 1 year in college. So it's a problem. I see it as a problem because the more kids we start letting a few kids that are sophomores and juniors instruct, and now the kids in the programs that are sophomores are being taught by kids that are their same age. And do they want to be in a program when their kids their same age are starting to instruct? So this is a challenge. And one thing that, and I want to keep these kids involved, but thinking about maybe we say you got to be JSA 17 or some age to instruct within the JSA and thereby keep them sailing an extra year and then get 2 years of sailing. But maybe that's not the right answer, but that's something we're thinking about.
US Sailing doesn't consider them until they're 17.
Yeah.
So they're junior instructors at 16. Is it 18? It's 18? Okay. But, Kevin, you're the expert.
You have to be 18. You have to be a legal adult. Until then, you are a sailing
Right.
assistant deemed by US Sailing.
Okay.
But we're seeing instructors that are coming level 1 instructors and instructing at clubs before they're 18, I think.
I'm happy to jump in on this part in
Please.
particular. So I'm not originally from this area. And when I came down 15 years ago, I was really impressed with how old the instructors were on average. But as the instructors are getting younger post-COVID, they're awful. They're too young. They think they're amazing because all their friends have left. And we're bringing these staff on that are younger and younger that are not good. And I basically now train the people that I hire to get to the level where I would have hired them a number of years ago. And I know that's pretty harsh coming from the back of the room here, but something that we don't do in the JSA that might be worth chasing after is when I grew up sailing and other places around the country do this, you can work, but also sail. So like you might be able to teach in the morning and then go represent and sail for your clubs. I think many of us are doing this for big boats now, but for the whole league that we're in, the Regional Sailing Association, we are watering down the athletes. Most of us are not really running programs at the moment. We're running camps. You can have a kid jump in and out for a week and 2 weeks. And the kids now have been sailing for 4 years, but it's a camp. They can sail a Hobie back and forth and probably not hit a bunch of stuff. But to then go and teach people at the next level, it's pretty rough. And so we keep banging our heads because I'm psyched that some of the smaller clubs do hire from within, but we don't. I think some of the bigger clubs, we're hiring from other programs. So another thing that we've run into, to be honest, is if I don't hire a 16-year-old that's good, they go and get a job at another place, and then I don't have a chance to hire them when they're 17 or 18. And so the whole level of our sailing programs are, in my opinion, are going down. And I think the kids aren't as good because they're not spending as much time on the water as they used to. So if there was a way that we could, as a JSA, maybe look at offering some type of coaching apprentice or getting these kids, make it more sticky. Maybe it's my kids go to Larchmont and they work in the mornings and then they sail from in the afternoons, or some version of that, because hiring 15 and 16-year-olds would be an, shucks. That's what we have. I think that's a role that we're supposed to be fighting and to try to train them up. So that's my 2 cents. But if there was a way that we could figure out how to keep the kids and make it fun, if they're all leaving because their friends are leaving, then that's a challenge too. And so if I have 2 older kids next year in my summer program, but I've now hired 2 kids or 4 kids that are younger than them, it changes dynamics a lot on the staff. So just something to think about. But if there was a way to have the kids race and teach somehow, that I think might help have a hybrid year or 2 or 3.
Eric?
I completely agree with everything you started with on the quality of instruction, especially among, 15 and 16-year-olds. We did have one at Centerport Yacht Club. We did have one sailor who did exactly what you said and went to Larchmont Race Week, sailed his laser, and he did both. He had a really good summer, both racing and instructing. We've had massive growth over the last couple of years, and I think we had like 25 or 26 Opti 1s this year, beginner Optis. And the instruction for that group was 2 women from Ireland, a young woman who's been in the program as an instructor for a couple of years. She's 18, probably started too early, but at least she's got a couple of years of instruction. And then 2 boys. One was a junior instructor, a full JI not sailing, and one was a JI sailing. And they rotated them through Optis, Ideals, I guess mainly Optis and Ideals. And the 2 JIs would take the kids out sailing for the morning or something, and then sail in the afternoon. And it worked out really well. The kids got, you know, a variety of experience and instructors, and that kid was probably the most popular instructor among all the, you know, among all the sailors at the end of the season. Everybody was super, super happy. One thing we could do is how many, we just gave out, I don't know, what, 200 awards tonight?
Feels like
there could be an award for instruction, you know, greatness in instruction and sailing. Like, you know, there's a bit of a combined, yeah, like who are celebrate the fact
Who
that you have celebrate the fact that you have JIs who are continuing to compete and wanting to sail.
Right.
Because we have, I mean, we have another young woman, a sailor who, you know, is very, very competitive, was competitive in the 420, but she's losing her partner next year to basketball. She actually sails a Mildred's 15 in our club fleet. And I don't think she's going to sail next year because she doesn't have a partner. There's nobody, you know, she wants to sail with. They're just going to go on vacation, and she's going to maybe sail Mildred's 15 with the adults.
That's why the laser is so good.
So
You know,
it is, but
issue.
I think, I mean, really the only way to compete and get anywhere decent instruction, because kids need internships evidently, as, you know, I don't know, seniors in high school now, is to get international. Well, freshmen, I mean, where are the college sailors? There's not many.
The college kids do, but not as a freshman in high school. Now you just over.
Peter Cozzolino from Milford Yacht Club. And this specific topic is, I walked in, I'm a U.S. sailing instructor, and I recently, 2 years ago, had some more time. And so I went back and redid all my U.S. sailing certifications, because I've got 3 kids in JSA sailing, 8, 10, and 12. And when I came in as the asked to be the program chair 2 days before the program started, the head instructor was 18, and everyone else was 16 down. So from a safety and logistics, the way we've turned that around significantly in the last 2 years in Milford, but we had U.S. sailing instructors that had other careers and maybe had more time in their schedule. And now we went back and did our level 1s and our level 2s and our CPR and did all that. And we had to travel with some of these young instructors, because once the program starts, it's not like we can just now change gears. We still need these young instructors in certain aspect, but that's, I like the solution of, are they coaching opties in the morning if they're young, and then maybe they're sailing in the afternoon? That's a solution. I'm a solutions-based person. And that's why, as a program chair, I was also acting as a volunteer instructor. But what's interesting is because of this issue, I noticed there wasn't really a provision in JSA for somebody like me who cared about the quality of instruction, safety, and everything. So I did it anyway last 2 years, but it wasn't without my own set of challenges.
We could also do a better job of you're saying the kids need internships. We could do a better job of packaging it. So if they're looking to put stuff on their resumes for colleges, then it's like, well, you know what, you stuck through this, you're sailing and you have this leadership role, you know, which would be a great resume builder. But I don't want them to go work in a pharmacy and as a cashier.
Yeah. As far as retaining, because I think that's part of the discussion here, in terms of experienced instructors, you know, we had a couple of instructors come in at All Instructor this year, and what they did, they're both from the Port Washington Yacht Club. And last year we talked about this, and sort of suggested to them that, you know, if we could find ways within, I mean, our clubs have lots of people that are professionals that have, you know, that work at companies that offer internships. Why don't you see whether or not you can get something through your club? And so 2 of the people from that club went back to their club and said, look, we're going to have to leave for internships, but we're now in our 6th year. We'd like to stay. And so they were able to work out at a finance firm, and I forget what the other firm was, an internship that started at the beginning of May or middle May, when they got back from school, until the time that they started as instructors. And so that's, you know, so they had something that was worked out for them to allow them to meet some of that. I don't know if they're going to do, I've also talked about doing intercession between December and January, when you've got that extra month, that if you can get an internship during that time, or maybe split the internship. So instead of doing three months in the summer, you do the 2, and then you get the 1, if you could do something like that. So I think if we could lean on our membership at our clubs to see what we could do. And I've talked to a few other people about perhaps pooling, so that perhaps your club, for instance, in Milford, have a lot of law firms. But you don't have a lot of, I don't know, breweries, right? Brewmeisters. You've got. I'll be honest with you. We had a kid that wanted to be a brewmeister and needed an internship for it. Okay, so I think if we look across the 43 organizations that make up the JSA, and we create a pool, and let's not just say, all right, we're going to give it to them. I mean, you have to apply for it. You have to qualify for it. I think we can create opportunities where that will allow us to keep our instructors, in the program longer, and get more experienced instructors. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Kevin.
Well, there,
But
at least for Riverside, we've got a private club. We're not going to let an instructor solicit through the member database to try and find an internship, right? So we're asking, like, our volunteer relative to internships would be a volunteer chair or someone being involved and knowing and making that connection for them versus letting giving access to the
I'm
member
not saying
database.
that they get access to the membership database at all. What I'm saying is that we as clubs proactively reach out to our members and say, look, we have these employees that we want to keep. And the thing that we're losing them on is this. And, the harm that we get by not keeping them on is what it is. We're getting less and less experienced instructors. And so by the time they actually start really kind of feeling the job and being really experienced, they leave. We'd love to have a program that we could, have a little job fair or something. I don't know what you want to call it. It could be a job board. It could be an opportunity board, but it's something that we communicate to our members and then ask them to opt in if they can help out.
Sure. Can I circle back to getting older kids applying for jobs a little bit?
Absolutely.
So Riverside Yacht Club, Samantha, for anyone who doesn't know, we definitely have kids that are younger that will apply. We will give them an interview, and we will then let them know at the end of the interview, please come back to us in 2 years when you've gained a little more experience. And we recommend some of that being sailing experience, not just going to find a coaching job. The bigger piece that has been more helpful for us, and we actually now have a pretty good pool of kids that are coming in our first year. Our first and second year coaches know that if they want to take off to go to a regatta, we're going to give them off. So we hire in roughly 19 seasonal staff on a daily basis. We have 14 full-time equivalent, because we've got coaches that are taking most of July off, all of August off. They're going down to Miami. They're doing whatever they need to do sailing wise, whether that's in the ILCA or the I-420. But that lets us recruit from this pool of coaches that was at the stage of, I'm sailing internationally. I want to still be able to do that. And that lets them kind of do both. So I know not every club has the ability to hire kind of more coaches than you need, but that's let us keep some of those older coaches that we want involved and let the 16-year-olds have another year until they're ready.
The Waterfront Center does that too. Like if you want to go to a regatta, they'll make it work. They're very good about that. And kids love it. So if it's possible, I would. Yeah, they do.
We've had to use, but the gap between New York schools and Connecticut schools, and when they get out, there's some excellent educators that are also U.S. sailing instructors, and keeping some of them involved, I think, is important in the sport and in JSA. And so we've had to work creatively with bringing in other staff to allow for some talented older instructors to be able to participate in Milford. And we've stayed flexible on the letting them sail and around the school schedules if they're teachers.
Thank you. So is there anybody else that has any thoughts, comments, things they'd like to share?
I wanted to, Eric mentioned Irish coaches, foreign coaches. I don't know that we've talked so much about that topic. I wanted to bring that up because So Larchmont's been, I'm Joel Labuzetta, I'm with Larchmont, and we've had great success with international coaches, as in the level has been incredible. The problem I would say we have is, as we're hiring, 16 to 20 coaches, we had about half of those coaches international last year and slightly more than half the year before. We had, I feel like, really good level of instruction. When I talked to other programs, we struggled with maybe like culture, like as in not struggled, but like it was the JSA. There's like a lot of just inside knowledge of the JSA and how the schedule works. And it's a really tough, jammed schedule. And so if you don't know what a Milford is or a Pequot, like if you don't know what all these places are, and where all the
How would
reps
you know
are,
that?
and you didn't go to those things,
Right.
that was challenging to drop the coaches into. So it took them quite a bit, I would say, to get their footing, but certainly we're better quality. And we've certainly seen, like, I can reiterate the same trend that, that Kevin started with, of like pushing younger. Quality has been a challenge for sure. That's been a way for us to offset it, but we've honestly been trying to, like, we could hire as many international coaches as we wanted. I think, like, for us, it's been trying to throttle that back and try to do a little bit more recruitment locally. I mean, it's expensive. That's challenging.
Well, it's also not everyone that has the option of doing housing for the internationals. I've personally housed 6 of them over the years, and I love it, and it's awesome. And they're great coaches, but housing is an issue. Not most
That's
people don't
gotten
want
harder
to
and harder. That's gotten really hard, I would say. And that's another area where we spend money in credits. We credit towards people that volunteer their house for housing. But that costs our program, and then the visas and travel, we make a choice to reimburse a large portion of that. So that costs us. So it ends up being relatively expensive, but it's, quality is at least there.
I've got a note from Tom Carroll at Cold Spring Harbor Beach Club. He says, we can't find domestic coaches. And younger kids, look, they can even get a lifeguard job at the age of 15. They get hold of that job and they keep it all through college. That's one example of the competition, not necessarily within sailing, but within that same age group. It has other opportunities.
Oh, did you hear that, Dylan?
Yeah, I did. And that's almost in keeping with the comments I heard from a gentleman from St. Francis Yacht Club. Was it this year that we went, or last year? This year. Who said that he's competing now in terms of salary with In-N-Out Burger. Because I think in California they pay over 22 an hour. So it's when you have to have a lot of responsibility for kids versus, you're going to cut potatoes. It may not be as attractive to some people. So we're hearing a lot of different things from a lot of different places. I don't know, but Kevin and you guys that are directors are probably hearing even more, and we'd love to hear from you what those are. I'd like to move on from this. Pete, you also had a comment that you put in when you signed up about I think it was the regatta calendar in terms of the planning calendar, or the committee. I'm sorry, the committee calendar.
Right, microphone. Yeah, it was just a comment. I was seeing how, looking at the year ahead, and we know it's going to be compact. We know it's going to be a challenge in getting on an evergreen schedule where we get more participation and start working on it knowing it's at this day every month, or it's the second Tuesday, and getting in that rhythm. Maybe that's happening, but I would just like to hear more of what everybody else is seeing as it all develops.
Yeah, I think, well, we're going to be starting with a new 2026 calendar for the JSA coming up next month. And we're always looking for people to help out doing work on committees. So if you're interested, I think what you should do is probably just send a note into Bob saying that you might be able to help out with this. And and then we can have a conversation about what we can do together.
Thank you.
All right? Okay. Wow. And I think that goes for a number of our different standing committees. We'll publish those.
Yeah, I think we like to publish the committees, and please tell us if there's something that we need to know that's not right, or we could do better, or you had a great experience because you did something. Sharing is awesome. And you really welcome the remarks and the comments and participation. So think about joining our committee and where we want to have champs this year. Is anyone raising their hands for the champs?
Were you raising
So-
your hand? Okay. All right. An American
Well, thank
too.
you.
That'd be great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else have anything else that they want to bring to discussion? Yeah, go ahead, Brad. Microphone?
So when I joined the JSA board, I set my mission that I would bring match racing to JSA. Again, it's been there in the past. So this year we had a match race clinic preseason at Cedar Point, and we got the idea of this match racing is that you represent your club. So each club sends a team. And we had 8 teams from 7 clubs before the start of the junior sailing season. I thought that was amazing. Thank you all who found kids preseason and got a team to Pequot. So next year, our thinking is that we are going to do a clinic early in the season. Preseason's tough, but very early in the season, maybe the first week on the Connecticut schedule before all the regattas kick in that second week on Connecticut, first week of New York. Maybe in that gap week, try to do the clinic again. And we'd hope that each club would send a representative team. We're doing teams of 3. Okay, so they sign up as a team, not individuals, but as a team from your club. And then after the end of the official JSA calendar, after champs and all the programs close up, we expect to have our first inaugural JSA Match Race Championship next year. So it will be after the season in that first or second week after the official season ends. So instead of trying to stuff another 2 regattas plus clinics into the existing schedule, I'm kind of working to bookend it. The clinic may be in the schedule time period, but the championship will be after. 3-man teams, 1 team representing each club. Please come. The kids, my gosh.
I have a blast.
They had Dave Perry and Pearson Potts and like 12 kids, or 24 kids. It was an amazing, but it's pretty precious. That clinic is a lot. It's Friday night, chalk talk. The Dave Perry Pearson Potts method is Friday night, you chalk talk, Saturday, you chalk talk some more in the morning, and then you're on the water, and then Sunday on the water. So it's a lot of learning because it's a different game. So in order to play the game, but I'm also asking for a little more on water time, a little less chalk talk time. But the kids had a blast. The boat handling was great. And they love the game. The game of match racing is fun. So hope you will each send a team next year to both the clinic and to the championship.
Thank you, Brad.
My kid went, it was great. One idea for you, especially if it's held at one end of the sound rather than another, is consider offering housing. Because the people further away, it was a bigger stretch to get them back and forth. And maybe it could be fun for the kids. Like, it'll let the evening go on a little bit more, maybe make it that much more attractive to get people to send a team. It's something really special.
Because it is a weekend, and to go back and forth from Larchmont to Pequot 3 times in the weekend is a lot. So let me think. would you think 2 days would be better? Just we're thinking about it. We'll keep refining. I hear you. This year, Pequot in ideals. Next year, we got to have more locations because we have 2 events, so we need at least 2 locations. I was talking to Ryan about Norotan, but yeah, it could be ideals, any 3-man spinnaker, matched boats, right? Storm 18s, it could be sonars, whatever you got a fleet of, I think J22s. So I think we want to get this growing. I think we want to spread it around location wise and from club to club and get more clubs saying, okay, I'm hosting it this year. And that club will send more teams, obviously. It's the plan.
Thank you, Brad.
Thanks.
So we're over our 9 o'clock at 9:06, and I am stickler for time. Is there anyone else that would like to share something? All right, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Tim, you're not on the board. Oh, okay. All right, meeting adjourned unless someone objects. Okay, thank you. Oh.